Hello everyone, Rich Hagon, Brian David-Marshall, the Pro Tour historian with you for another Pro Tour. It's the first of 2014, and here we are, BDM, in Valencia. It's dry, hooray.
Oh, it's sunny and beautiful. Let's not undersell it.
Absolutely.
It's gorgeous here.
Okay, and we're set for the first Pro Tour of 2014. What have we got in store?
Well, this is gonna be our first chance to see the pros drafting Born of the Gods at the highest level of competition, and we get to see what Modern looks like with the addition of Born of the Gods, the exclusion of Deathrite Shaman, and the readmission of both Wild Nacatl and Bitter Blossom. It's going to be, a very shaken up Modern format. That doesn't sound like a big deal.
It's only 3 cards.
It's only
out of
8,000
or something.
Net plus 1 card. Yeah. In terms of the bans and unbans, but it's really shaken things up for people, and it's really like the presence of Zoo. The possibility of a Wild Nacatl based Zoo deck has really changed things for people and really shaken up people's preparations.
I'll tell you something else that's really shaken up people's preparations. 2 words: Channel and Fireball. When they came on the scene, they really reinvented the team concept. It's taken a while, but now BDM, I think it's fair to say, the world has caught up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys were the first, there have always been teams here or there, but they were usually the exception to more than the rule. There were a number of dominant teams early on in the game, but of late, until Channel Fireball came along, people weren't really coming to a city somewhere in the world a week, 2 weeks in advance of the event, holding up with this think tank of great players and really tackling the format in this systemic, analytical, and full-time job kind of way.
Yeah.
And it was, for a while, it was Channel Fireball versus the field. And then we had Team Star City Games came along, and John Finkel and Tom Martell and Reed Duke and those guys, and those guys had about a year. So where it was Channel Fireball and the John Finkel team. Mm-hmm. And those 2 teams were dominating, and now really everybody's caught up, and team names have changed, and rosters have shifted.
Sure. Why don't we take a look? Because we've got about 30 teams that we're aware of coming into this PT. We prepared 10. Behind us, you can see Reed Duke. This is some of the ranked players on our first team. Let's wade through them. Reed Duke, you see there, number 6. Sam Black is on. Keep on going. Tom Martell is up next. On we go. Number 12, Owen Turtenwald. On we go again. 17.
These guys are all top 25 ranked?
All of these are top 25 right now, yeah. And it is the Pantheon. BDM, talk us through this
one.
So
this was one of the big off-season moves, formerly known as Star City Games. The team became Channel Fireballs, the Pantheon, and again, 62 Pro Tour top 8s, 16 Pro Tour wins, 6 Pro Tour Hall of Famers on the team. Active at this event. That's not all the Hall of Famers on the team even. It is just a ridiculous lineup of some of the greatest players in the history of the game. Kai Budde and John Finkel, considered, many arguments over which of these guys is the best.
Okay.
And by the way, then you also have young players like Owen Turtenwald, Reed Duke, Matt Costa. Team's terrific.
So basically, that's the Channel Fireball B team.
Right.
Why don't we meet the A team? Let's see who we've got here. You're number 1 in the world right now, Ben Stark. You've also got the number 2, John Shutter-Layton. Who else have we got in the rankings? Your world champion, SHAHAR, SHENHAR. On we go, because it doesn't stop there. Number 8 from Japan, Shuhei Nakamura, Hall of Famer. Martin Yuza is your number 15 from the Czech Republic. All of these guys on the same team. Eric FROEHLICH is there from the United States. Any more? Oh yes, David OCHOA, there certainly is. Any more still? Oh yeah, how about Brian KIBLER, a 2-time Pro Tour winner? This is the original Channel Fireball. And there you see the squad, and BDM, I want to talk about the names on that bottom line of the squad. SHENHAR, Lundqvist, Samura, and Karsten. Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of Hall of Famers. This team actually has 7 Hall of Famers playing in this event, which is just kind of ridiculous. Kenji Samura is considered, pardon the cross-team reference here, is considered in the elite pantheon of players by many. Mm-hmm. And one of the 5 or 6 greatest players to play the game, and now he's joined this team. He's like, I'd really like to play with the Pro Tour. Do you think you guys would have room for me on Team Channel Fireball Prime?
Think we might.
Yeah.
So next up is team. Let's see. Jeremy Desani is on this team, ranked number 5, right? Number 21, Raf Levy.
So world team champion. Before that, Pro Tour Theros winner.
So here is Revolution. Now, basically, we've divided this into 2 lots. Essentially, if you look at those first couple of lines, you've got the non-French players. You've got Melissa de Toro, Roberto Gonzalez, Rob Castellan, who made a Pro Tour top 8, big Samuel Estrati, the first modern Pro Tour champion. And then you have anyone who's ever owned a French passport since Robespierre, basically is in this team. Levy, Desani, Dijon, Guillaume Wapatapa, buried in the midst of that, you see.
Timothy Simino on that team with Raphael Levy that won World, Jan Guthman as well.
So Raph Levy is your Hall of Famer on that one. He's very much the leader of Team Revolution. But
this team has really had incredible Grand Prix success too, by the way. 43 Grand Prix top 8s and 7 titles.
Yeah, most of those Jeremy Desani in the last year and a half. He's just crazy.
I mean, he's quietly been one of the best constructed players over the last couple of years on the Pro Tour Grand Prix scene overall, right? Just like a ridiculous winning percentage.
A lot of Europeans on that list. Next team, BDM, also has a fair amount of Europeans, but we begin with Willie Adel from Brazil, number 11, Stanislav Sivka.
Return to Ravnica champion.
In modern.
Yeah,
and so here is Elaborate Ruse. Who they?
Well, this is a similar lineup to maybe the team Danube that we saw at the last Pro Tour.
Oh, right.
So Matej Zadelkai, Simon Gertzen, Stanislav Sivka, Ivan Flock, Lucas Jaklowski, Willie Adel, Juliano Gennari, Oli Rade, Hall of Famer, Joel Larson, Elias Wasfeld, Dennis Rashid, quietly back-to-back top 8 Pro Tours, Ludi Londos. No Hall of Famers, but 17 Pro Tour top 8s, 3 titles, and just really just some of the most powerhouse European talent in the game right now is on this team.
All right, let's see who we've got next. Any ranked players? Yes, Alexander Hayne. That gives you a clue where we're going. Let's see who else is there. Oh, John Stern. That looks like a strangely familiar Maple Leaf. It's face-to-face games.
Yeah, this is the formerly Canadian team. They said, you know what, we don't have quite enough players in Canada on the Pro Tour to compete with the likes of Channel Fireball and the Pantheon. So we got to go to the United States. There's some big pickups in here. Some really big pickups. I want to really point to, Todd Anderson and Brian Braun-Duin as 2 big pickups. Jacob Wilson, Sam Pardee, people who've done very well at Eternal Format Grand Prix.
Jacob Wilson, by the way, one of only 10 teenagers in the field this weekend. He looks at Magic as his college fund. That's how Jacob Wilson sees it. He's like, yep, thanks, Magic, you're sending me to college.
Josh McLean, someone who's done very well. Sam Pardee, if someone's going to do well with a pod deck this weekend, this is someone he's been dominant with that deck. And a team that's put in a lot of work the last week to really tackle this format and do, according to Alexander Haynes, something like 3 dozen Born of the Gods drafts, just constantly firing the queue.
Next up, we have your 25 ranked Christian Calcano of the United States. He is the lone ranked player on this team. Team Doge.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. I don't know. I don't speak meme necessarily. This is Calcano was looking around at different teams and trying to figure out where he was going to go in the offseason, and just was like, okay, well, you know what? There's a lot of people who are like me. We're grinders. We do well at the GPs. We've won our PTQs. You know what? We need to band together if we are going to fight against the likes of these big superstar teams.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, this is almost like our control team, isn't it? It's like, what happens if you qualify for your first PT and there are some other people local to you who are also qualified and 1 or 2 people with a bunch of experience?
Right.
Where do you go? Let's move on. Here's YUUYA Watanabe from Japan, a former Player of the Year twice. Makihita Mihara of Japan. Who else is on this list? Well, it is, in fact, Team Japan. Now, we better be careful with quite what we mean by this Team Japan business.
Sure. Yeah, this is a group of the Japanese players who are working together, preparing for this event. A couple of notable players are working with other teams. Most notably, Shuhei Nakamura working with Team Channel Fireball. But there may be other players on the list. We're working from some translated documents.
Yeah, there was some Facebook relic messaging that went on to contrive this. But what really matters is the big 5 names that you can see on that team.
Yeah.
You've got Saito, you've got Mori, you've got Watanabe, you've got Takahashi, and you have Mihara. This is a fantastic lineup. Let's move on. Who have we got next? Craig Wesco in your ranking players, and 24 are relaxed. So this is going to be Team TCG player.
And this is a really big off-season move team. They made a lot of acquisitions.
Yep.
They hired, they signed Chris Fennell to be their limited expert.
Okay.
They signed Conley Woods to come from Team Channel Fireball. He jumped ship, came over to TCG Player, and he is their brewmaster.
See, I want to ask you about this.
Yes.
Surely, if there is one person under pressure at this Pro Tour, it is Conley Woods. Because how do you say to someone, we have brought you in to break a gigantic format?
But you know what? Here's the thing. I think Conley doesn't come here to necessarily break the format.
Okay.
Conley also comes to this team to sort of take the teachings of Team Channel Fireball in terms of organization and rigor and bring it to this team. This is a team that has had weekly Skype conference calls about the modern format for 3 months.
Yeah.
So, I think Conley is as much about bringing, listen, I can prove to you that this works because it worked for me, right? One weird trick that helps me top 8 Pro Tours, No, but he can say that I've demonstrated that this works, so you have to listen to me. Yeah. And that's what they've been doing. And by the way, Ari Lax, modern. This guy knows modern. 9th
Pro Tour return to Ravnica in Seattle.
Playing Infect. Yes. Yep. One of the great deck techs I think that's ever been done in this traveling facility here was his deck tech there. Someone who really knows modern. This team is a team that really has great lockdown on Limited and Constructed, and I'm excited to see what they do this weekend.
Absolutely. Let's see who's next. Any ranked players? Well, no. We're going straight to MTG Mint. I think of these as a sort of pan-Asia all-star outfit.
Absolutely.
It's literally, you go around, it's like Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, China, Chinese Taipei. You've really got the works from that region.
And really standing out here is the name Su Ching Kuo. He has, I think at this point, more Pro Tour points than anybody without a ProUr top 8.
I guess that's true because he's been around for so long.
Yes.
He gets ahead of people like Reed and Shahar.
Yes. Oh, he is way up ahead of them.
Yeah.
So this is someone who's long overdue, and this is a good team. Li Shitian, Kelvin Chu, and we have another top 8 in here somewhere. I think Ken Yukihiro. They've got 3 top 8s.
Yeah, Ken Yukihiro is a former Platinum Pro from Japan, so it really is. When you see some of these names come Saturday in the backgrounds of Modern, don't be too surprised.
So it's interesting to me, though. Do you think that there's still room for the Rebel, for the Lone Wolf?
There is, but there's room for one more team first, which
I'm sorry.
Because with the best team name ever. Here it comes. Here we go. It's Austria-Germany. With fabulous efficiency, they decided that a team name would not help them win the Pro Tour, so they didn't bother to give themselves one. Can't really fault the logic there. And it turns out the headline act on Team Austria-Germany is the Swiss player Nico Boni, which is kind of delicious. I think of this lot as the European Grand Prix All-Stars. You've got former Austrian champion Polat Rotman, former Platinum Pro Thomas Holtzinger. You've got Krautmann GP winner, Valentin Mackel with his 3 Grand Prix top 8s in the last 12 months or so. Former team world champion in Boni. Patrick Dickman is a winner of a modern Grand Prix in Antwerp just a few months ago with Twin, Splinter Twin, which we absolutely expect to see tons of this weekend. I think as Europe goes, this is a squad to watch.
There's a handful of really good European teams. I mean, Europe is really the sort of part of Europe and Japan are two of the parts of Asia, parts of the world that have gotten left behind to somewhat in the North American team renaissance. And we're really seeing over the last couple of Pro Tours them really, trying to catch up to that. And obviously the results for Team Revolution at the last Pro Tour.
We have given you 24 of the top 25 ranked players in the world on these 10 teams. So who's the 25th? Let's take a look.
Shodi Yasoka, there's your lone wolf. This is a guy, he's like associated with the MTG Mint guys. And I was really excited. I'm like, oh my God, you guys signed Shodi Yasoka for your team. And they're like, yeah, no, he's just, he's just working by himself. He has his own ideas about draft. He has his own ideas about constructed. We saw him bring this ridiculous deck for Modern to the Players' Championship a couple years ago, now known as the World Championship, with Eternal Witness and Aether Vial and Cryptic Command, and he really is the stalwart of the Lone Wolf Society.
Yep.
And always at the top tables, and seems to be just getting stronger over the last few events that we've seen him at. So, excited.
Yeah. Maybe it's time for his second Pro Tour top 8. But Born of the Gods is out. Modern is a vast format. The question becomes, BDM, are we going to see Born of the Gods cards in Modern?
So it's you know, Modern's an eternal format, right? I mean, this is a big card pool. I believe it's somewhere 8,000 cards, images in the file. I know when we were looking through stuff to build our slides. So it takes a lot to crack an eternal format. And I think there are probably 4 cards that people agree we might see this weekend through main deck and sideboard.
Let's see them.
Spirit of the Labyrinth is a great card if you're looking to shut down some of the Sphinx's Revelation decks, anything that's looking to do a lot of card drawing, maybe some of the deck manipulation stuff. Courser of Kruphix in a format filled with fetch lands and play multiple lands a turn and do all this stuff. Courser of Kruphix seems like a great card. And also 2/4 just really stalls a Wild Nakatl, forces you to use another card if you want to get through it.
Next up is Searing Blood.
Yeah.
I just want to say, that looks like it really hurts. I know there's a lot of death in Magic, but that looks painful.
It does really hurt, because it does 3 damage to a creature's controller and does damage to the creature. So for 2 mana, you're dealing a total of 5. This is a really efficient card that if there's a really good burn deck out there or some kind of red-based deck, we're going to see this. And then obviously, this is a card everyone talked about when I did a roundtable with the coverage team, Bramaz.
Yeah, it just seems like often when there are lots of words on a card, you think, yeah, maybe there are too many words on this card. This is where every new word you see, you think, oh, that makes it better.
Right.
Oh, that makes it better.
Oh, this will be the draw. Or really, I'm a pessimist. I'm like, oh, this next line, that'll be the drawback.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then the next line will definitely have the drawback.
Okay.
No, you don't find a drawback on this guy.
You do not. So we may see those 4 in Modern. Let's tell you about a card that you will not see in Modern.
Yes.
We guarantee you will not see this weekend. This card, Deathrite Shaman. It's gone. It's been banned. These 2, on the other hand, Wild Nakatl and Bitter Blossom, well, you will see, may see.
Bitter Blossom is probably more of a question. I mean, there are certainly players who are going to build a fairies deck because they're like, oh my god, this is my favorite deck. I love to counter things and I like to play creatures and do all this stuff. But Wild Nakatl is a card people were joyous to see come off the ban list because I mean, you're just gonna see this is attacking for 3 on turn 2. You know, it's not unreasonable that you could see a Naya Blitz deck that goes Stomping Ground into Wild Nakatl, Temple Garden into Burning Tree Emissary into Lightning Mauler, attacking for 7 on turn 2.
Wow.
And by the way, I have all this burn in my hand to back that up. So I'm certain we're gonna see this card and cards that on the other side of the table that are there to deal with this card.
Okay, so that's Modern, but we kick off tomorrow with Born of the Gods Theros Draft. So BDM, as players open their packs, sure, they want some super powerful, rare or mythic, but what about some commons? Point us to a suite of commons that we might see opened, and our first player on camera goes, I'll have you.
I would not be surprised at all to see a Crow and Skyguard be the first on-camera pick of this Pro Tour tomorrow. This is, you know, people have talked about it as like Wingsteed Rider light, but I mean, this card comes down for 2 mana.
It's not that light.
It is not that light. It hits really hard. It's really just about the best creature in every heroic deck I've drafted. I love it. And we're certainly going to see people picking that first. Probably the best white common, regardless of what color combination you put to it. Chorus of the Tides, you know, Snapping Drake stats, but with the upside of whenever you target it, you get to scry 1. Asphyxiate, premium removal. Fall of the Hammer has been terrific. If you're going red-white heroic or doing anything or red-green, it's kind of like, you know, it kind of reminds you of Pit Fight, but the other guy doesn't get to punch back. I call the card Sucker Punch.
Very nice.
And then Swordwise Centaur has just been, just great card for the green decks that don't have a lot of options at 2. And this lets you really start hitting hard early, and 2 green pips for your like green devotion cards is a big deal.
3 rounds of draft, 5 rounds of Modern. 3 rounds of draft, 5 rounds of Modern. 3 rounds on Sunday of Modern, where we show you every turn of every match. Guaranteed, best 2 out of 3 in the quarters and the semis. Final, your big setup, 3 out of 5. We can't wait. It's great to be here in Valencia. Thanks for being with us. For Brian David-Marshall, Rich Hagon saying bye.